Okay, welcome to the Holistic Artist channel. I'm Tagg, your host of Kiss My Artsy, where we explore natural healing and spiritual embodiment. Today's guest, I'm just so excited, is Paige, and she is going to share with us her words of wisdom.
Hi, Tagg. Thanks for having me on. I am one of the lead mentors of the Truth Rooted, which is a faith-based foundation. Our faith is in the realm of understanding and believing that the body has the tools to heal itself given the right environment and circumstances and support. And I know Tagg because she's one of our members. So I'm so happy to be here with you.
Thank you. I've been so excited about everything. I mean, you just can't possibly imagine. I think what you guys are doing is just spot on, and I have nothing but respect for you guys. So, what inspired you to begin your journey in a holistic um, world, in the holistic field as a practitioner?
That's a great question. Really, I think it starts with becoming a mother. And when I had my daughter, I was 19 and really thrown into the world of like, okay, now I'm feeding this other being. What do I feed this other being? And being aware that there were different choices of baby food, of formula. And at that time, being 19, I didn't really have the knowledge and support that I had now. I also wasn't given very much support in the hospital. Like, no one told me that it might take a couple of days for my milk supply to come in. And so when we brought baby Olive home the first night and she was latching and then crying, was like, I don't know what's happening. I guess I don't make enough milk for my baby. And then at that point, going to formula right away because I didn't have the support needed just to understand my body and my baby's needs. But then I was like, okay, well, I'm only going to buy the best formula. So in
Yeah.
hindsight, now I wish I would have had more support on that side to be like, your body is going to work. It's going to come. This is what you can do to induce lactation. These are the herbs you can take to bring more supply in. But at that time, it was just like, okay, well, I'm not making milk, so I'm going to do the best thing I can, which is buy organic baby formula. And
Yeah.
so, like, that was the first moment of understanding what I put into another being and knowing that there's like a conscious choice I can make there between something conventional versus something organic. And then Olive was she was just starting solid food. And I watched a vegan propaganda documentary, I will say,
Yeah.
and it completely changed my mind. I'm not vegan anymore, but at that moment, it was like a catalyst of like, wow, I get to choose. And really, that was like a moment of eating for the planet. And now I'm older and wiser and understand things in a different context completely. But those were two big moments where I felt like there was a choice and I became aware that that I had a ripple effect with my choices. And then the biggest piece was when I felt my body started breaking down from being vegan for 7 years
Yeah.
and really wanting to dig into that more because it was such a belief that I held of wanting to steward the earth in a good way, even though at that point I didn't have a farm and I didn't live on land and I didn't have the things that I do now or live the way that I do now. However, I fell into that propaganda hole and then realizing like, oh, we can eat meat sustainably. We can know our farmer. We can get dairy products from good sources, and our body needs these building blocks, these proteins, these saturated fats to really be vital and healthy. And so that was like the third catalyst moment where it kind of all came full circle. And it was like, wow, people can fall into so many different types of propaganda. It's just out there. And whether that's like a keto diet or a vegan diet, or, you can name 10,000 different ways that there's information coming that says this is the best way and the only way if you want to save the planet or you want to be healthy or X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
So that was like a moment for me as like, oh, vegan actually isn't the best, most vital way I can live.
Hmm.
And I see people around me struggling and I want to help those people. So just diving into the science of the body and really what the body needs to be in a vital, healthy state was kind of the moment where I was like, yes, this is what I want to do to help other people.
Right. That was your turning moment. Yeah. So how would you describe your healing philosophy in one or two sentences?
Well, I would say that it really is the trinity of what you put into your body, how much you move your body, and the joy that you feel on a day-to-day basis. That, as you know from being in our membership, that is the basis and the foundation of what we believe. And of course, there's other instances too that go into that, like your environment and things, but that kind of plays into the joy and what you're feeding your body and how you're moving your body. And so that is really like the trinity that I see of the body. If someone can hyper focus on what they're putting in their body, moving their body every day in some sort of way that feels good to them. It doesn't have to be some crazy cardio, just like a walk in the woods or something, a walk down your street.
Yeah.
And feeling joy every day. Do something creative, do something that lights you up, follow your dreams and your passion. And if you have those three pieces, it is such an amazing formula for changing the body's state into being a more healthy, vital being. So that's what I believe is when you have those three pieces, you can really change so much about the body's state.
Right, right. What is one thing you wish more people understood about their bodies and their energy systems?
That it's easy. Like what I just said, it can really be that simple. And people like to try to make health into this big scary thing of I don't know what to eat, I don't know how to do this, I don't know Reiki, I don't know what to do for my cancer, I don't know this and I don't know that, and it's all of these things of like I don't know, so I need to trust someone else. It's really leaning into your intuition, standing on those three pillars of what you put in your body, how you move your body, and feeling joy in your body. That
Right.
can change so much. And people like to make it into something so big and so scary when really it's just about being in your body and understanding that the way that you feed your body is the foundation. The way you feel in your body is the foundation. It's what you're telling your body. And so health can be simple.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone can be a holistic practitioner, truly, if you have the right mindset to be of support and understand how to find that root cause.
Right.
So that's what I think is that people make it way too big and convoluted and scary, but it can be so easy and simple if you just slow down and listen and go back to the basics.
Right. I agree. The basics. What practices do you specialize in? And you touched on what moves you to it, but I know that there's other things that you do besides running the school that's related to your holistic practice.
Yeah, totally. So I don't have a personal practice anymore. I really am focused on supporting our practitioners and holistic practitioners around the world. But what I think is really important is just that same idea of understanding, and the practice that I preach is sitting with clients, sitting with members, whoever you're working with, or trying to find the root cause, someone who's going through a health ailment. And if I'm sitting in with them as the practitioner, the biggest piece is listening to their story and listening to their patterns. So listening to their story as in, when did these things come up for you? Did they go through a traumatic event? Were they moving? Did they get divorced? Did they lose a parent or a child or a family member? Was there something traumatic that happened and within a couple of months of that triggered an autoimmune disease or something that you can trace back, which is very, very common for people, but doctors never ask those questions, right? And so just having these conversations allows the door to be open and the root cause to be seen, even if it is an emotional, traumatic thing like that, where it's not like a bodily injury or an impact, it's more emotional. that still needs to be uncovered as the root cause. And then it lays the foundation to work through that. And not that you have to become the therapist, but really that when you have these conversations and open it up, the client puts these things together and can start internally healing because they know when that happened and why, and they start to see that connection there. And the other piece would be to listen to the patterns and what is someone doing on a day-to-day basis. I know so many people that are like, oh, I've tried everything, I've gone to the doctor and I tried all of these medications and I did this, and it's like, well, did you change your lifestyle? Did
Right.
did you slow down and listen to your body? Are you still drinking 3 Coca-Colas a day? Like,
Yeah.
listening to the patterns as well. So listening to the story and listening to the patterns. Like I said, anyone can be a holistic practitioner. It's more of a detective work than anything. You have the foundations of holistic health to be able to really support and know what to do when you can connect those dots. But it's more of that detective work of listening and being a caring practitioner and support system to be able to connect those dots for someone and be there to support and relay these patterns and relay a new foundation so that when they're done working with you as a practitioner, they have a whole new mindset, a whole new lifestyle, and they know how to take care of themselves and their family or the people around them because they have the information and knowledge. So I think that that's really where my specialty is, and something that I carry on in my own life, and something that I definitely preach to our practitioners is listening to the story, listening to the patterns, because you already have the holistic health foundation. And once you have that, you just get to be the detective and put those pieces together.
Right. Yeah. Lifestyle is, I know it's such a broad category,
Yeah.
but really and truly, I mean, when you make these changes of wanting to get better and wanting to improve and start operating at a healthy state, before I even go into diet with my clients, I cover lifestyle first because one, you have to create space for it in order for them to adapt to these new, systems that they're putting in. So I totally get it with lifestyle. So how do you maintain your own energy and boundaries when you did have your practice?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think same as now, going from managing a full practice to having over 300 members in Ritually Rooted, the same applies, which is making sure that we have time barriers with either our members or our clients, which is I'm available Monday through Friday from 9 to 4, whatever it may be, and making sure that the expectation is set clearly for everyone so that if there's a moment where someone sends a message to you at Friday at 8 p.m., they
Mhm.
aren't expecting a reply until Monday morning, right? And so that is something that I see a lot of practitioners forget in their contracts and their agreements, is just setting expectations. And when you can do that from the beginning, everyone feels seen, heard, and understood because the expectations were set up clearly. But if you don't set those expectations and someone does message you at Friday at 8 p.m. and you're with your family or something, you're not in work world at that time, and you get a message on your phone, you feel obligated to respond. And
Yeah.
then pretty soon it's like 11 at night and you're going back and forth because this person is like in a downward spiral and they didn't have the time needed to just sit with what's going on with them anyways, unless it's a true emergency, which then they probably shouldn't be calling you anyways, right? But
Right.
like allowing people space and time in between is also good for their processing.
Uh-huh.
So to really set it clearly and be clear on what the expectations are, I think is very essential in the beginning. And that happens like before you even sign a client. It's like at signing,
Yeah.
that's what is so important. So that's what I do. And luckily now, with 300 members, practitioners underneath Ritually Rooted, and that have their own practices that are growing and flourishing, I
Yeah.
have a team. And that is what needs to happen when you grow and expand. Like, you need to start delegating and figure out what's essential to you. And now I have a homestead and I have young children, and there's a lot going on in my own world. And I make sure that I am where I say I'm going to be. I know for sure I'm going to show up to our weekly calls. I know for sure that I'm going to respond to the DMs, but at the same time, like most of that work has been delegated to other members of my team so that I can show up with the bigger picture and be able to understand what needs to happen, what needs to shift on the larger scale to make sure that our members are always supported.
Right,
At
yeah.
the beginning, it's about setting boundaries and expectations. And as it grows, it's about delegating and having an awesome team, like making sure that the teams that you do have, you're not babysitting. And
Yeah,
instead, you're like feeling supported because there were a big, the front portion of starting to delegate when you grow and you start to have new members, or you grow past just what one person can hold. The
yeah,
next phase is just understanding how to manage a team, and that's a completely different side. And so making sure that the people that you do bring onto your team are supporting, and like that you can take a step back and actually look at that and see it as supportive instead of feeling like you're babysitting all the time. That
right.
is a really big piece as well, is just making sure that you surround yourself with the supporters and you're not adding more to your plate when you think you're taking things off.
Yeah, 300 members. I didn't realize it was that. That's a lot. You don't
Totally.
for really anything else. So yeah, kudos. Yeah, I mean, shoot, that's hard work, and it shows you. I mean, you're helping so many people.
Thanks.
What herbs and foods or natural tools do you keep close for your own routine?
That's a great question. I love herbal bitters. Herbal bitters are so, so supportive. Dandelion root is a great one. That's something that is really pretty mellow for children as well. So that's definitely something we keep on hand. Rhodiola is one of my favorites just for energy support and for me, for my brain in the morning. I love taking rhodiola as a tincture form. Same, dandelion root is okay in a tincture, as an infusion or a tea, or a decoction, which is actually boiling it a little more. That's
Mhm.
best because it's a root. Um, what else do I love? Oat straw, of course, alfalfa. These are like the base herbs that you would formulate with, giving it just the the a chicken just came up right on my fence right here. So I'm just like, okay. Anyways, just as the nutritive value, oat straw, alfalfa, those are great just for the nutritive value and being semi neutral in its energetics as well. So
Mhm.
those are just some of the herbs that I keep on hand and that I really love just having around. Rose hips are amazing. Um, Also hawthorn berry, both of those are great for the heart and the circulation. um, yeah, and as far as food goes, just to go into that side, it's really like we have a freezer full of meat that it was processed from the cows in the field next door. All of our ground beef is an organ blend, so they blended the ground beef with the liver and the heart included. You might be able to hear this chicken next to me. But that is essential, and it's just such an easy way to get organs in just a little bit every day if you're eating ground beef, because ground beef is amazing and it has so many different things for you. But just adding and being able to add that ancestral blend in, I can't taste the difference. My kids can't taste a difference,
Right.
and I think that that's just super important to be able to get a little bit of the organ meats in. Um, we have butter on hand all the time.
Yeah.
I love using, at least for bulk orders, there's this company called Azure, and it's like an organic bulk shipping company, basically. And they are all over the US. And we get raw cheddar cheese in bulk from them, and we get butter in bulk from them, vat cultured, and it's just amazing. So we have butter on hand all the time, raw cheddar cheese on hand, and of course raw goat milk too. I milk my goats every day, and I will give the kids some chocolate milk, which is just like a chocolate powder that I get from this company called Mount Capra, which is also a goat milk colostrum protein blend.
Mhm.
And so I'll put the chocolate milk in there, and then I'll add some collagen in there too, in the raw goat milk, and they drink that every morning. They love that. And so just, making sure that those things are included. And of course, sauerkraut and ferments. That is like the biggest thing, is making sure you have very healthy, grown, happy meat and ferments.
Yeah.
And raw dairy. Like, those things are amazing. So that's what's on hand in my kitchen all the time.
That's, that's a lot. Oh my gosh. I couldn't imagine what it's like. I mean, every single morning. My grandmother had a farm, and so she had a billy goat and cows, and so they were used to doing stuff like that. But it was an adventure when I got to go and visit them, and a lot of fun too. And it doesn't take that long. It takes just as long to milk an animal versus putting on clothes, driving to the grocery store, standing in line, so.
Totally. And it's just that connection. Like, I've had many people, even some people that come and get goat milk from us, they're like, wow, you milk every day. And I do, but I'm not so picky about it. Like, I've had to let that side of me go, where I'm like, if my goats are milked by noon, I'm happy. Like, if I need to bring the kids to school, or if I need to run errands, or if I need to hop on a meeting in the morning, it's fine. If they're milked by noon, they're fine. Like, they're happy and healthy goats. And some people will just like drive themselves crazy with the regimen, and like, this has to be done twice a day, 6 a.m. and 9 p.m. every single day. That just doesn't work for me. And my goats are fine. Like, they produce just as much milk as I need, and also enough to give away, or, give to friends. And I just love it. Like, it's a reason to get out of the house in the morning, even when it's cold, even when it's snowing outside. It's like, okay, I have to do this. And that perseverance in that way has been so good for me, even though sometimes it can be seen as like, wow, that's really hard, or like a chore. It's so important for me, especially as one of the founders of Ritually Rooted. Most of our work is virtual. We're working online to support practitioners with their practice, either online or in person. But all of our support comes online because our members are all over the US. And so just getting myself out of the house and connecting with the animals and being like, yes, my milk is happy and fed, and I know that this came from my goat. Like, it just feels so good. And there's something about that connection that I think even brings even more vitality in life into the nutrient value.
Right. Now, I have another question. This is what I usually ask other practitioners. And since you're running the school, that's your practice. So this is like a loaded question, but still, people want to know, what is the most misunderstood aspect of your practice or your field? You can discuss either one, whichever one you feel comfortable asking.
Yeah.
You did have your practice or the school.
Yeah, totally. So what's so funny is that Ritually Rooted is not a school. So I'll start with that. And it's so hilarious because that is definitely something that comes up a lot. And a lot of members still call it a school, which is so sweet because it is like an educational learning environment. But I would say that is one of the most misconstrued pieces of Ritually Rooted is, yes, we support our members in holistic foundations, but our mission is faith-based. And so I think that is like a huge misconception. And when you're setting up privately, as we're not only a holistic association and a church essentially, but we're also a private membership association. And so within that, there becomes we get a lot of protection from setting up that way. And it's in alignment with our values. That's what we choose because that is at the core our belief system. And our belief system and how we're set up is to support our members. We want our members to feel the fruitfulness of what it feels like to be in this place of a holistic practitioner and feel the fruit of supporting others in holistic practices and with the same values that we have, right? Which is health, wealth, and sovereignty.
Yeah.
And so that's just like a piece where it's like, yes, exactly. That is exactly what I feel is the most misunderstood in this industry, is that there are different schools like the Herbal Academy or Sage
Mhm.
Apopum, and Astro Herbalism, but Ritually Rooted isn't necessarily in that same category. We're set up differently from the foundations, from our bylaws, from how we have been resurrected into being, like how our EIN is even filed, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that is something that can be really sweet. And I
Mhm.
think of it as a really sweet thing, is being able to correct people as far as like, we're not a school and we're not a course. We're a holistic foundation with a faith-based mission that is holistic health, is true vitality. And
Mhm.
our mission is to support our members in the foundations of holistic health so that they can ripple out and support others, whether that is a financial exchange, whether that is from the good of your heart and people are coming and there's donations happening or contributions happening. That side is all on you, right? But we just want this army of holistic practitioners with this will to serve. And that's kind of what our church is really based around, is having a community where holistic practitioners who are operating this way can come together and talk about our mission, talk about our faith, talk about how we get to support others, and talk about the healing that happens there.
Yeah.
And so that's what I think is probably the most misconstrued thing. Even our members think that, or it's easy to refer to Ritually Rooted as a school, because there is so much education, not just from Ritually Rooted and supporting our members, but from members sharing with other members, right? It feels like such a rich place of education,
Yeah.
but we're not a school.
Yeah, thank you for the clarification, because I thought I understood, but you just cleared it up for me. Because, we're so conditioned to go to school and
Totally.
had like courses after courses and schooling after schooling. I mean, really, I'm a career student. That's what I am. And so coming across the membership
Yeah.
is something completely different. And now I have a better perspective, and now it makes complete sense after everything is said and done, you know. But thank you for the clarification on
Yeah.
that.
I mean, that's what happens. And it is kind of muddled. And because it is kind of like the box that has been created and conditioned for us, like we don't fit in that box. And so our brains have been conditioned to think like, oh, this is a place that I'm going to like learn and be supported. So it must be a school. But support can look all different types of
That's
ways, including a faith-based foundation, right? And so
right.
thanks for asking. That's such a good question.
Yeah, what happens when we don't ask the questions? It's
Exactly.
a big misunderstanding. And, sometimes I get attacked for that as well. Different belief systems. And with my previous career, I worked with all kinds of life, and so their faith is different, each and every one of them. Their upbringing is different. Everything is different. The only common denominator is that they're a human being,
Yeah.
And so in order to connect with people, you have the choice to either learn what they know and understand it, or not be
Or
flexible.
challenge it. Yes, totally.
And so that doesn't, you're not going to rack up fans that way by being rigid and close-minded. So yeah, I completely get it. Yeah.
Cool.
you know
Yeah. And that's like one of the biggest things too. Like, we talk about this in Ritually Rooted, but how do you grow your audience? How do you reach more people? And I don't keep my beliefs and my values a secret on Instagram or on social media. It's so funny. I was like looking at some of my DMs this morning, and I realized that our Ritually Rooted account has 20,000 followers. And I was like, oh, cool, like 20,000 followers today.
yeah,
But what's so cool about that is that those people are following because they are in alignment with what our mission and our values are, versus me trying to pretend to be something that I'm not, or preach something that I don't believe. And really, that is how you find that clarity and the people that you want to be with. That's how you found Ritually Rooted too, right? It's
Yeah.
like you find your people by being outspoken about your values and your mission.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That box is not really working these days, is it?
Totally.
So I have 3 questions for you. I can't believe how fast this, process went. The more and more I do this, it just seems to just smooth out and unfold,
Yeah.
So I have 3 questions. I'm going to ask one at a time.
Okay.
So what is I'm so sorry. My dogs are extremely active. I don't know why, because we just like 2 hours in the park. And now they're running around here playing, but forgive me for the barking.
No problem.
So what is one powerful shift people can start today to feel balanced and to feel better?
I believe that one powerful shift would be taking note of where you want to be in 5 years, whether that is in your health or your goals, your career, whatever it is, or you could choose just one of those things and make a little story, just one page of what your future self looks like in 5 years. Where do you want to be? Maybe that is owning a home. Maybe that is like free of your dis-ease that you're dealing with. Maybe that is having children. Maybe that is having animals, whatever that may be, right? How much money do you want to make? What do you want that to feel like in your body? Where do you want to get your food from? Just as clear and concise and detailed as possible, writing out as if it's already happened. Like, I am it is the year 2030 and I am living on a beach in Costa Rica. I have 6 kids. I homestead, whatever that is. I make $1 million a year, whatever that may be. And write until the page is full.
Yeah.
2 pages, 3 pages, however long it takes to just get really clear on what that future vision is, and read it every day. And that's something that, Tagg, that we start our Ritually Rooted members with, is the Upward Spiral Guide. And
Yes.
I have seen lives completely transform from just having this one thing that you read every morning that is your vision, and you'll get clear on who you need to become to be there in 5 years. You'll see the patterns emerge of like, oh, if I'm drinking a Coca-Cola every day, I might not reach that goal of being my most healthy, fit self, right? Or whatever that goal is. Then your patterns start to emerge, and you get to look deeper into what is hindering you from being that person today. And that practice for me was so beneficial. It's how I began Ritually Rooted. It's how I have this team. It's how I know you. It's how we have 300 members. It's how Ritually Rooted has become so beautiful and bountiful and successful in its mission, is because I did that for years, every single day. And when my vision would shift, or I'd be like, maybe this isn't exactly what I thought I wanted, I would rewrite it so that it would be more in alignment with what I do want.
Right.
And that is just so powerful. And some people will call it manifestation, but I just see it as like a grand alignment with where you really want to be, having a compass to be able to see where you're going. Where are you going?
Yeah.
Like, let's just be clear about where we're going. So then you at least know. You might not know how to get there, but at least you know where you're going. And that is a great start.
That's half the battle, is knowing where you want to go. Yeah.
Totally.
Absolutely. Okay, second question. If you could speak to your younger self or any person just starting their healing journey, what would you say?
Perseverance is more important than excited action. You can be so excited and you can feel so ready for action, but if it's coming in waves and you're like, oh, I'm not feeling very motivated today, so I'm not going to do it today, That's not going to work. You have to work on it every single day. You have to work on it when you're sad. You have to work on it when shit is hitting the fan completely. You have to keep going even when you think it's over. You
Right.
know, you have to keep going, and that's the perseverance. And one of my mentors told me that perseverance and those who have perseverance are the ones who are going to win. And the entrepreneurs that do not have perseverance will not win. They will not make it to the finish line. And
Yeah.
that just stuck with me so deep and so hard. I was like, damn, okay.
Yeah.
Like that means I can't stop. Like I just have to keep going. Otherwise, you
Yeah.
might be motivated for
Mhm.
3 months or 6 months or a year,
Yeah.
and you have little wins, like maybe you get your first client, maybe you get your first 10 clients, but then maybe your ads stop working and you're like, oh shit, is this even worth it? Do I keep going? Like I'm losing money right now, and then you have to pivot, and you have to be ready for those pivots, because
Right.
it's not always sunshine and rainbows on the entrepreneurial journey, right?
Yeah.
But you have to be aware enough that this is a challenge that you are strong enough to face, and
Mhm.
be able to pivot and see where things do need to change. It doesn't mean just like keep pushing through and using brute force. You have to be methodical about your next step. But that is where having friends and having a support system, whether it's ritually rooted or somewhere else, right? But
Mhm.
when you get stuck in these webs and you're not sure which way to go, having people who support you
Yeah.
is so, so valuable and really priceless,
Uh,
because I have invested so much money into mentors and courses and all the things, kind of like you, right? And um and you just, it's so worth it. Whatever you got out of it, even if it was a $10,000 course that you feel like wasn't really worth it, maybe it gave you something that was worth something, that brought you to this next step, and
yeah.
maybe that was worth $10,000. And that's how I always look at my things, is like, was that full investment worth $10,000? Probably not, but that piece alone was. I didn't use anything else, but that piece got me to the next level. And
Yeah.
so you can always be looking for those places to pivot and persevere and continuing on, and really surrounding yourself with people who believe in the vision, not people who are like, are you sure this is right for you? Do you really want to keep going? You've
Right.
already spent a lot of money. I don't know. You need people who are on your side, who want to see you win. And that is like, when you have that, there's no way you can lose, because you can always come back to the round table and
Yeah.
discuss what's working, what's not working, tweak and change so that you can get to that next level. And that has been so beneficial for me, just having mentors and other entrepreneurs in my friend group.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, yeah, this isn't my first entrepreneur
Right.
subject. However, it's the one that's most aligned, simply because, you have to, I'm working with people that don't get to see the glitz and the glamour, the pretty part of it. Because there was a time where, I'm dressed in a costume, rhinestones from top to bottom, eyelashes and the hair and the nails, but yet, and just an hour ago, I'm cleaning toilets, in a, so no one sees like the back end of it, So yeah, having that support team with the people that you align with helps you create that big picture, and there is no rush. It unfolds when it unfolds. That's the other thing that I really like about it. But the way how everything is set up to inspire and encourage makes a big difference, because I've had mentors and teachers and professors that will just knock you off that block,
Totally.
Yeah. So, last and final question. Where can our viewers find you?
That's a great question. Rituallyrooted.com is our website. You can sign our private membership agreement to become a member, a free member, and learn more about what it actually is, what the membership details entail, and if it's in alignment with you, they can submit an application, and one of our team members from Ritually Rooted can get in touch with them and set up a call. If it's like, yes, I want to become a holistic practitioner, this is what I want, then rituallyrooted.com is the place just to learn more about us and our mission and our vision. And if it feels in alignment, dropping an application is the perfect way to get in touch with me and my team. Also, Ritually Rooted on Instagram is my personal Instagram, and we share a lot about farming and goat milking and Ritually Rooted and our membership, just everything that I care about, really. We have no agenda there, but Ritually Rooted on Instagram. And I believe that's it. That's what I got. I'm rocking with that.
Well, thank you so much for being our guest and sharing your words of wisdom during your beautiful journey. And, hopefully, you want to participate again on the show. I don't know what this is going to look like in the future or how I'm going to pivot this or anything like that. But, I'd love to have you back and inspire more people to make changes, the necessary changes in their life. And I'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, girl. Thank you so much for having me. I love having you as a member in Ritually Rooted. Tagg is an amazing holistic practitioner. If you don't know already, she can support you if you're looking for a one-on-one person. And I really love everything that you've done and you've grown to become within our membership, and just getting to know you more and more. I love you so much. And I'm so glad that we're here in this together.
Oh, I love you too, girl.
All right. See you tomorrow.
Okay. Alrighty.
Bye.
Bye.